So, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded consistently, but I've been active on Twitter for a while now. By the way, you should go follow me. You probably maybe won't regret it. And the big debate I've seen is the fact that Game Freak aren't going to be including certain Pokemon from older generations. While I don't entirely agree with it, I get it, and I feel the need to defend my boys. So, that's what I'm doing. White Knighting at its finest. But anyway, just a few words before getting into the video. My goal with this is not entirely to spout my upper echelon god tier opinion, but more so to start a discussion. Feel free to debate with me in the comment section below. But anyway, let's just go ahead and dive into the video.
Rolling, I can never get enough. I've been up too long and I way too drunk, but we straight up in it and we feeling.
I have a couple different points to bring up and talk about, but before I do that, I just want to explain some of what's going on. Just for the people in the back or the people living under rocks. Basically, in the new Pokemon games, Sword and Shield, Game Freak have cut a considerable number of Pokemon out, as in, they aren't going to make it into the games this time around. This, of course, triggered a huge divide within the Pokemon community. Those for it, and those very against it. And then there's those of us in the middle who really couldn't care less and just want a new Pokemon game. As of making this video, the dex has been leaked and all the new Mons and Mons that have made the cut have been shown. But don't worry, I won't have any spoilers in this video about that. The amount of hate thrown at Game Freak all year has been absurd and a little out of pocket, guys. So I figured I'd make a hot take video on this naturally, because who doesn't love a good controversial video? Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our first point. So the first point I wanted to bring up is quality over quantity. Yeah, after seeing the new Mons that leaked and the dex that comes with the game, I'm okay with not having every Pokemon in it. I'd rather them spend time making well-designed Pokemon that I'm sure have some great real-life connections and inspirations. I know a popular point is that they are reusing animations or not paying enough people for animation development or whatever, but I'll hit more on that in my next point. The quality and effort that goes into redesigning old forms too is also notable to mention. I find that I often prefer the regional forms. It doesn't necessarily make it a new Pokemon, but it's like breathing new air into something. Oftentimes it's like a glow up of sorts, taking this generic, ugly looking rat and making it look cooler and have a different purpose. It's a sweet idea and I'm glad the theme is being continued. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about regional forms. So my next point is actually going to be, surprise, regional forms. They're essentially a form of Darwinism, which is basically, for those that don't know, evolution based on environment. Like animals that adapt to new environments and climates, every region is different. Let's take a random example of Piloswine and Alola for a second. Now, if I take a Piloswine off of Ice Path and drop it into Alola, it's going to hate its life more than I hate mine. It's got all this hair, and what is Alola? Hot. It's an island, so I'm making that assumption, but you get where I'm going with this. Eventually, it would either adapt and lose all of its hair, or just die. But that's the basic gist. Pokemon have to evolve and adapt to their environment, so that's why I give a +1 to regional variants, and it's a nice little shout out to reality. Anyway, my main point with this one is that I take regional variants over old Mons because it's new, refreshing, and more fitting for the region in some way, most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, but that doesn't help support my argument. So we're just going to ignore that. My third point in this MLA formatted essay is probably the most controversial one. With the ever-growing roster of Pokemon, I don't think I want all of them crammed into one game. I know that sounds crazy, but I'd rather them naturally find a way to sprinkle them in or slowly give them to us. Oversaturation is a thing, and you hate to see it. I mean, with thousands of options to choose from, what good is that? You really want to run the same teams over and over again? What fun is that? Where's the originality in that? If you want to blast through the game with your ultimate OP team, go do it in one of the older games. Emulators and ROMs do exist. Also, if they didn't have a natural way to include these Mons, what good is that? Forcing Mons that clearly don't belong in those places? That's like dropping a lion in the middle of New York City. Does it belong there? No. No, it doesn't. Does it need to be there? No, not really. It's the same concept with Pokemon. Why put a Pokemon in a region where it just doesn't fit? And to end off this video, I just want to mention this. Game Freak isn't perfect. They aren't afraid to stray from the traditional formula and try new things. I think that's something that needs to be commended. Yeah, maybe we don't like the fact that they cut out a bunch of Pokemon from the games, but keep in mind this is only one game. It's been vocalized and been made very apparent that this isn't something we want in the future. They've seen that and they know that. These games are going to be sick AF regardless. Anyway, that's all from me. Go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Pokemon content, and drop a comment down there in the comment section. I'll see you all in the next one.